I'm sorry, Father. I was reckless. When I saw those emaciated patients, those poor children, the futile hope in their eyes.
I've told you before, recklessness always leads to failure. But it was not wholly in vain. I shall settle the rest.
Ah, those fools. They will never know the wonders of wealth. Huh?
Father, your face...
Fremine, we can take in a few more homeless children next year. I have acquired some new funds.
Oh, okay.
Mission accomplished. You can sleep now.
Thank you. Once I'm better, I'll start my next mission.
Those who parade their virtues often do the most evil. We are not like them. Rest in peace, my child.
Hey, Traveler, Paimon.
Linny!
This appears to be quite the fated reunion.
You can say that again. What brings you to Poisson? Wait, Paimon's got it! You must be here for one of your magic shows, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, she did it! Seeing is believing, my friends. This has been Linny and Lynette's magic show.
Actually, we've run into a bit of trouble on the home front, so Father arranged for us to stay in Poisson for the time being.
Oh, are Lynette and Fremine here too?
Yep, along with most of the other members of the House of the Hearth.
Sounds like you've run into way more than just a bit of trouble. What's really going on?
Well...
Since the two of you are so curious, perhaps I can fill in the gaps.
You scared Paimon half to death!
Arlecchino.
Father.
You know, on second thought, maybe we don't need to know.
No need to be nervous. I could sense your genuine concern from your conversation just now. Of course, I can also understand your confusion. Sending so many Fatui here to Poisson, it's only natural that some might suspect an ulterior motive to be involved.
Well, we still have reservations about your organization.
I understand. I'm well aware you've had your fair share of confrontations with the Fatui in the past. Well, I can't exactly guarantee that we'll remain on good terms in the future. As for right now, however, I would say we have little reason to be at odds, wouldn't you agree? The House of the Hearth could stand to be more open with those who have worked so closely with us in the past. As for the issue at hand, it hardly relates to any ulterior motive. It all stems from a certain rumor circulating around the House of the Hearth. It's an internal matter.
What sort of rumor?
A rumor that a certain phantom child is hiding away in the House of the Hearth.
Some sort of ghost story?
A phantom child?
A spirit that should have long ceased to exist is lurking in the shadows of the House of the Hearth. So I decided to bring the children to Poisson before continuing to investigate the situation. I expect I should be able to track down the spirit fairly quickly. It shouldn't be much trouble at all. If you're curious, or if you still have some concerns, it might be advisable to stick around for a few days. I'm sure the children would be exceedingly pleased to welcome some visitors. Lenny, I'll leave you to entertain our guests. I have some matters to attend to.
Of course, Father. It has long been a dream of mine to invite you to our home and introduce you to my other siblings. You're quite well known in the organization already. If you're willing, why don't you stay a while and have a little chat with us?
Alright. We don't have anything else to do right now anyway.
We'll join you.
Well, you're more than welcome to come along. Let's go.
Linny!
Come here, everyone! Hurry! The Traveler and Paimon are here!
Hello, everyone.
Gotta say, Paimon didn't realize we were this famous.
Of course! Father and Linny have told us so much about you.
Father told us about how you helped Linny. As you can imagine, everyone's been very curious about you.
Ooh, how about this? Tell me the name of someone who really annoys you, and we'll teach him a lesson for you.
I can give you some of my new potions. Just pick your poison. And by that, I mean medicine or actual poison. I've got both. Huh?
All right, Fold Selwar. I would say your enthusiasm has certainly gotten across.
It's been so long since we've had guests to play with. If there's anything you need, just let us know.
Yeah, especially if it's poison or something. I've got all sorts of potions for that.
Well, we'll talk to you all later.
All right, see you later.
Bye!
Nantoi, Filiol. Allow me to introduce you. This is the Traveler and Paimon.
Outsiders?
It's nice to meet you. I heard you've traveled to all sorts of places. Is that true?
Of course! We're making our way all across to that!
Oh.
You must be pretty familiar with Fontaine by now, then. Have you seen the new opera, The 4,000 Thieves?
Oh, this is the first we've heard of it.
You should definitely check it out if you have the time.
Oh, and there's The Blind Maiden, too. That one is supposed to have audience interaction. Seems pretty interesting.
Looks like the House of the Hearth has some normal members after all.
I heard that.
I'm guessing you're referring to Foltz and the others? Yeah, we're definitely not all like them.
I bet those crazies are practically foaming at the mouth right now. I'm sure they just can't wait to get back to Snezhnaya to carry out the plan.
That's enough, Filial.
Whatever. Let's go.
Guess this is goodbye then.
Well, we should probably head back as well.
Well, they didn't seem too happy with each other. Seems like there could be something more going on here.
Let's just observe for now. It's better not to pry.
You're right. We're only here as guests after all. Oh, Linny's getting super far ahead. Come on, let's catch up.
So, what do you think of the members you've met so far?
They've certainly got a lot of personality.
Well, Fremine, what are you doing here?
Well,
Fremine, nice to see you again!
Oh, I heard you're here as guests of House of the Hearth. Welcome.
We were just going to make some food. Why don't you come along? Were you looking for something just now, Fremine?
I just wanted to see if there were any extra supplies.
Yeah, what do you need?
Some food and water.
No problem. Give me a second here. Food, water... Wait a minute. What do you need all of those for? You're not on any missions, and you were just going to come eat with us.
I thought I'd grab an extra portion, because I get hungry at night, you know?
Fremine, you remember what I told you? Your lying skills still need some work. Tell me what's going on. Whatever happened, does it have something to do with Father?
Yes. Just follow me.
You're back! Oh, and you've brought some friends with you this time!
Hello, my name's Linny. I grew up in the House of the Hearth. And you are?
I'm also a child of the House of the Hearth. You can call me Clairvy.
Clairvy?
It's nice to meet you. Does that name ring any bells, Linny?
No, that's not a name we have on our roster, I'm sure of it. What I'm not sure of, though, is how she managed to sneak in. She must be the phantom child Father's been searching for. I'm guessing you were the one that found her, Fremine. You, haven't told Father, have you?
No, I haven't told anyone. I've just been keeping her hidden.
For how long?
About half a month now.
So ever since we got to Poisson, then? Do you have any idea what you're doing?
I know what I'm doing.
Really? 'Cause from where I'm standing, it looks like you're hiding the very person Father has been trying to find. If Father finds out about this, everyone involved is going to be punished. You know the rules of the house, Fremine. Father doesn't tolerate any form of betrayal. So why are you doing this?
I've thought it through. And I just can't hand her over like that. Linny, don't you remember last year? Sheplo nearly died after getting poisoned during that one mission. He wasn't able to get back before the poison started taking effect, and not a single person was there to help him. That night, I heard a voice telling me to go save him. I thought maybe I was just hearing things, but I went to look for him anyway. Luckily, I got there with enough time to save his life.
So what you're saying is, she was the one who spoke to you that night?
I don't think there's any other possibility. If Clairvy were our enemy, I would have acted without a second thought. But she's been living with us, helping us from the shadows all this time. I think that makes her family. I couldn't just hand her over to be dealt with. Not when there's so much we still don't know.
So what's your plan then? You can't keep her here forever. Someone is bound to find out eventually.
I haven't thought that far yet. I don't want to disobey an order from Father, but I also don't want to put Clairvy in danger.
Come with me. There are a couple things I'd like to say to you in private.
Those two sure care a lot about each other. Well, they got a funny way of showing it. from where Paimon was floating, it sure seemed like they were about to bite each other's heads off.
No way! They have a really deep bond. I just don't know how long that kind of bond can last.
What do you mean?
The darkness in the house runs deeper than you can imagine. No one can get out alive.
I'm sorry, Linny. I really didn't mean to drag anyone else into this.
Oh, really? 'Cause I, for one, wish you did.
What do you mean?
You know, when we were younger, you didn't call me Linny. You called me brother, just like Lynette. We grew up together, the three of us. We were all orphans, all rescued by father. Of all the siblings in the House of the Hearth, I think our bond was the closest. Later on, when you started calling me Linny, I wasn't actually surprised. After all, Lynette and I are related by blood. We've had to depend on each other to survive long before we joined the house.
Linny,
The darkest and most difficult moments of my life happened before you and I had ever met. I'm sure that's true for you as well. Even so, Fremine, we've stood by each other for all these years now, and to me, that means more than blood. You and Lynette are the most important people in my life. So I won't let you face anything alone. Not if I can help it.
Hey, you two! Hope we aren't interrupting anything.
It's just a small family dispute. It's not something our guests should trouble themselves with. In fact, it might be better if your stay ended here.
I think it'll be better if we stick around.
I just... Thank you. I was really hoping to keep you out of it. But even if I could think of some other reason to turn you away, I'm not sure I could convince you. Things could turn dangerous, so... From now on, I'll protect you like my life depends on it.
Me too.
Well, back to the matter at hand then. If we don't plan on handing Clairvy over to Father, then our only other option is to solve the mystery of her identity before Father is able to track her down. That means finding out where she came from and what she's doing here. Then we can send her on her merry way and pretend like none of this ever happened.
I've tried that already.
And?
And... nothing. I tried taking her somewhere really far away, but... after some time, she just reappeared. She even came with us all the way to Poisson. It seems like wherever the house is, she follows.
I don't know much about spirits. Do you two have any ideas?
Paimon remembers hearing something like, if you fulfill a spirit's last wish before they die, they'll let go of whatever's keeping them here and return to the ley lines.
Well, sounds like it's worth a shot. But first, Fremine, I need you to promise me that this will stay between the two of us. No one else gets involved. Can you do that for me?
Of course. I promise.
All right. Then let's seal the promise just like when we were kids. I swear. Whoa!
Lynette!
What a surprise! What brings you here, dear sister? And, when exactly did you get here?
You're an idiot, brother. And you too, Fremine. You 3, Traveler. And you 4, Paimon.
Wait, what did we do?
I've seen Clairvy around the House of the Hearth before. I hadn't seen her in Poisson, so I figured she must not have come with us. But it turns out, you were just hiding her. I heard you talking about your plan. Rather than steering clear of the situation, I'd rather fully join in. If you don't agree, I'll have no choice but to report everything back to Father. Simple as that.
You're not giving us much wiggle room here, Lynette. Well, I guess we're all in this together then. After we talk to Clairvy, we'll figure out our next move. There's no time to lose. Let's go. Clairvy, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Oh, another new friend. Hi, I'm Clairvy.
Hello.
Clairvy, how did you join the House of the Hearth?
Huh? Isn't it the same for everybody? The Knave brings you here and then you can't leave.
It's just that your name, it's not on the roster. And I've never seen you before.
Oh, I get it now. I think there might be some things you don't know about this place. The people in charge, they're not as nice as they look. They say they keep a roster, but it's not complete. There are a lot of people who aren't on it, and never will be. In this house, some people are family, and other people are just test subjects. Those kinds of people aren't ever going to get a place on the roster, unless it's the roster of people who've been executed.
Wait, does that mean the Knave... She...
Is there anyone that can vouch for you?
Perry. She's my best friend. She's the only one I trust in this place.
Have either of you heard of that name before?
No.
Me neither.
Clairvy, Perry. Neither of those names are on the roster. Maybe we should try a different approach. Clairvy, do you have a wish?
A wish?
It can be anything you want. Just imagine, it's your birthday, you're blowing out the candles, and your wish is...
To go outside, where the sun can find me.
That's... it? Well, that sounds easy enough.
The darkness in the house runs deeper than you can imagine. No one can get out alive.
What did she mean by that? Things can't be this simple.
Okay, time to divide and conquer. Listen up, I've got a plan. I'll try and find a way to use basic illusory magic to take Clairvy outside and bring her somewhere with sunlight. Lynette, try and find the list of executions that Clairvy was talking about and see if her name is on it. Fremine, you stay in Poisson. We can't be the only ones who've had run-ins with Clairvy. I need you to collect intel on everything she's said and done.
Understood.
I'll try my best.
What about us? What should we do?
I really appreciate your willingness to help, but this is a family matter. I don't want to drag you in too deep. It's too risky. Come back tonight when we've made some progress. We'll decide how to proceed from there, and that's when we might need your help.
All right, we will. Be careful.
We will be. Thank you. Okay, this is where we part. I really hope this goes well. No, it has to go well. That's the only way this can get resolved.
Lenny, how did everything go?
Well, long story short, Clairvy can't go into the sunlight. Everything was fine at first, but as I led her out of the shadows and into the sunlight, she vanished. I turned around and there she was, standing at the edge of the shadows, silently watching me. Eventually, the sun went down, so all I could do was bring her back here. How did it go with you, Lynette?
Good. I've got the list. It's right here.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's take a look! Landois, Chambel, Aurere. Oh, yikes. That Aurere guy has a huge scar on his face.
I've met him before. The scar is from an injury he received during a mission. I still remember him joking with me about it. He said any future lover would take one look at him and then lose all interest. It was only later that I learned he really did have someone he liked. He risked everything to escape so he could be with her, but it didn't work. One day, Father asked to see him, and I never saw him again after that.
Wait, so that means the knave,
It may seem cruel, but it's just one of the rules of the house. Betrayal is not to be taken lightly. We know too many secrets to come and go as we please. So if you do try to leave, you pay with your life. Well, Glarvy's name's not here. Let's shift our attention then. Fremine, were you able to find anything out?
I managed to talk to quite a few people, but I couldn't help but notice that the atmosphere in the house was a little strange.
Strange?
I mean, I know there have been arguments in the past, times when people haven't gotten along. Chaplot and Filiol are a good example of that.
Paimon can see how they might not get along. They had very different vibes.
That's to be expected. Father brought us all here, shared her knowledge with us, taught us how to fight. But that's where the similarities end. Not all of us feel the same desire to stay here. As members of the House of the Hearth, we're also considered part of the Fatui. And to a lot of people, that's an identity they never asked for. Certain members get older and realize they want something else for themselves. But considering the rules of the house, most people would never say that out loud. People like Chaplot and Foltz are loyal to Father and her vision. They're proud to be part of the Fatui. Filiol and Nantoy, on the other hand, well, they aren't quite as enthusiastic.
These kinds of conflicts have always been there. It's not like Father is in the dark about any of this.
That's true. But it just feels like things have gotten worse lately. Filiol and the others, it seemed like they were meeting in secret to talk about something. I can't say for sure, but I think they've met Clairvy.
You think she's been inciting them to act out?
No, not exactly. But I wouldn't be surprised if she said something to them about the darkness in the house and how deep it runs. She's told me about it before. Experiments being run on children. People being used as pawns on the battlefield without so much as the strength to survive.
And they just believed all that? Without any evidence?
Clairvy's words probably gave them the excuse they were looking for. Whether they actually believe them to be true is secondary.
What does that mean?
If we leave Filiol and the others to their own devices, sooner or later, Father will be forced to take action.
We can only focus on one situation at a time, brother.
You're right. Even if we confront Filiol and the others, it won't do any good. It might even make matters worse. We should focus on Clairvy for now. Well, it's getting late. We should head back and get some rest. We'll try again first thing tomorrow. Good work today, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm always looking forward to an early night, but she can't sleep at all. Look! Look over there!
Clairvy, what's she doing over there?
Quick! Let's catch up with her before anyone sees! Clairvy!
Shh! I opened the window while no one was looking. Look how pretty the outside is.
The window? But there's nothing here.
If only I could have more than this. You probably think I'm being silly, huh? All this hopeless resisting? It's better to dream of what I could have than try to make it a reality, right?
Please, help us get on the same page here, Clary. We need you to tell us what you know. Can you do that?
Sure. Although, after you hear all this, you might regret that decision. Everyone in this family is nothing more than a tool, something to be used and exploited. We're all expendable. As long as you're useful, you get to stick around. Lose your value, you're handed over to the doctor, experimented on, and given a fate worse than death. I've seen it happen again and again, and I've had enough.
You're saying the Knave did all that? It's just, that doesn't seem like something she would do. She's scary and all, but it seems like even she has lines she wouldn't cross.
I knew you wouldn't believe me. Everyone thinks she's a good person. They all think of her like a real mother. But she doesn't deserve that title. She's disgraced it and tarnished it. And if I had things my way, I'd never see her again. If only Perry were here, she'd understand.
Perry. There's that name again. Also, Paimon can't tell if she's actually talking to us or if she's mistaken us for someone else.
I'm not sure either. She's a spirit. It could be anything.
Well, in any case, we should keep her company for a little longer. She looks so young, but it seems like she's been through a lot. Paimon really doesn't understand what's going on with her. Well, let's head back. We've got an early morning tomorrow.
All right, looks like we're all here. Let's go ahead with the plan.
Before we do that, I have a question. Have the Knave and the Doctor ever worked together?
What makes you ask that?
Well, we kinda ran into Clairview last night, and that's what she told us. We met the Doctor back in Sumeru. He's super dangerous.
It's possible that Father and the Doctor have had certain dealings, but I don't think Father would work with him. We're not really on the same side, so there's not a lot of trust between them. I know you don't agree with some of the Fatui's methods, and I'm not asking you to, but I am asking you to trust us on this. The House of the Hearth has its own principles. There are certain lines we're not willing to cross.
Alright, that's good to hear at least. Clairview seems to think the Knave and the Doctor work together to do something horrible. It's just that it doesn't seem like Clairview is lying either.
Well, let's just focus on the plan for now.
All right. Father didn't come back last night. She's probably near the shore. We'll be counting on you to distract her. Lynette, you're with me.
Where are we going today?
Let's try somewhere further away this time. Fremine, keep a close eye on Filial and the others. Be on your guard, everyone.
Ah, it's you two again. I must say, you look a bit pale. Did you have trouble sleeping last night?
A little.
Perhaps if you had less on your mind, you'd be able to absolve yourself of such troubles. So what are you planning to do now? Catch up on some sleep? Or should I give you some time to rack your brain for a topic to discuss before I ask any questions? Although I must profess to being curious. How do you plan on distracting me?
Us? Distract you? A good one. But no, we were just here for a chat.
Looks like you could have used some extra time to think. Don't worry. I'll be sure to steer clear of any scheming children.
The ocean breeze is sure nice today.
So you know everything then?
Children always think they can hide things from the grown-ups. I think I'll let them have at it for a little longer. I can be very patient. Well, I'll leave you to think things over. If you're so inclined, meet me outside the Palais Mermonia. Good things come to children who do as they're told, so I do hope you decide to tag along. If only for your friends' sakes.
What should we do? She clearly knows about everything we've been doing, and Paimon doesn't think it'd be a stretch to say she was threatening us just now.
We don't really have much of a choice.
Okay, then we probably shouldn't keep her waiting. Paimon doesn't want to find out what happens if we don't show up. It seems like Lynn and the others are on thin ice, so let's do our best to not get them in any more trouble.
Seeing as we still have some time before my meeting, we might as well enjoy some pleasant conversation while we wait. I'm glad to see you get along with my children. Being surrounded by good companions is necessary for a child's development.
You're not planning on doing anything to them, are you?
I assume you're referring to Linny, Lynette, and Fremine, although there's that situation with Filial and Nentoy as well. It appears quite a few people have been acting out lately. No matter, I'm not one to discriminate. All those who betray the house meet the same fate. There are no exceptions.
Does that mean you're going to kill them?
Oh, are you here to beg for their lives? I'm sorry to disappoint, but the rules of the house change for no one. In my organization, everyone is responsible for their own actions.
But don't you care about them at all? They really respect you. They even call you father. You must feel something for them.
Any organization in which feelings come before principles is one destined for ruin. Perhaps I can offer you this consolation at least. As our guests, you two will not be held accountable along with them.
There's really no other way to solve this?
I would imagine Linny, Lynette, and Fremine will be able to keep their lives. As for Filial, Nentoy, and the others, I'm afraid there's little I can do. They can try to escape, but once you know our secrets, there's no getting out alive.
But that's awful.
Ah, you seem concerned. Out of consideration for my guests, I suppose I could turn a blind eye for a little longer. If Linny and the others manage to dispose of Clairvy in the meantime, all evidence of their wrongdoing will be lost. In that case, I could hardly punish them for something I couldn't prove. If their efforts are unsuccessful, on the other hand, all will be held accountable, and the punishment will be severe.
It's a deal then. We'll hold you to it.
Of course. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have to chat. Now, for the matter at hand. I asked you to meet me here because I have business with the Iudex of Fontaine. It has nothing to do with you, but I think it would be prudent for you to stick by my side for the time being. There will always be time later to run off and tell Linny what you've learned. Well, time to go. Looks like we wrapped things up just in time. It's been a while, Monsieur Neuvillette. I must say, I wasn't expecting my meeting request to be approved quite so quickly.
It is only right that an esteemed diplomat such as yourself should be afforded the proper level of respect. I see you've brought the Traveler and Paimon with you as well. If I may inquire as to the purpose of your visit.
I'll be departing Fontaine shortly. There is, however, an outstanding matter that I would like to see resolved before I go. It requires a rather lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. So I took the liberty of explaining everything in this proposal. Please review it at your leisure, Monsieur Neuvillette.
I understand your request. However, at the risk of causing offense, I must admit that I fail to see why you would wish for such a thing.
I heard you have a certain fondness for water tasting, Monsieur Neuvillette, so allow me to use water as an analogy. A family is like a large body of water with countless rivers flowing in and out. As someone who watches over this system, I would hope that each river will eventually reach the ocean. Of course, I know this is impossible. Most of the rivers will dry up along the way, but I would not see their existence rendered meaningless. I believe the water that flows within them is simply meant for a different destination, like a field in need of irrigation. Or perhaps the glass of a certain water-tasting enthusiast.
Your words paint an optimistic picture indeed. Allow me to remind you, however, few among us are willing to sip from a glass filled with tainted water.
It may have been tainted at one point in time, but not to worry. I'll make sure it's strained of all impurities and returned to its cleanest form.
I seem to recall there being a transactional aspect to your proposal. Perhaps you could expound on that?
If you accept my proposal, Monsieur Neuvillette, I will gradually withdraw my forces from Fontaine. And, unless absolutely necessary, I will no longer carry out any special missions within Fontaine.
I presume I can take your words to mean that, in the future, cases similar to the Tartuffe assassination will cease to cross my desk?
Tartuffe? Ah, that thief who embezzled funds from all those charities, you mean? My deepest condolences to his family, but without any evidence, I cannot imagine how the House of the Hearth might have been involved in his passing. Of course, if you accept my proposal, Monsieur Neuvillette, I'm sure certain measures could be taken to reduce the frequency of such troubles.
You choose your words carefully indeed. In that case, I am inclined to accept your proposal.
My thanks for your generosity, Monsieur Neuvillette. Well, with that settled, we should be going now. Traveler Paimon.
So, what exactly were you talking about back there?
You really want to know? I would imagine there might be more pressing concerns at the moment.
Linny, Paimon really hopes everything's going okay.
The Knave may seem relaxed, but I think she's serious about punishing those kids. How should we stop her?
Well, now that my affairs are settled, we should take the boat back to Poisson.
Actually, why don't we stick around for a little longer? We're super close to Linny and the others, but we still don't know much about you. At least tell us something a little extra, like, why do you call yourself father?
It appears you two are under the impression that delaying our return will somehow alter the situation in your favor. I'm sorry to ruin your fantasy, but your efforts are meaningless. That being said, I could be persuaded to give Linny some extra time. I just have one condition. If you agree to my request, I'll even answer some of your questions. You're quite curious about Clairvy, are you not?
This condition of yours. Let's hear it.
Wonderful. Here it is. When the time comes, make the choice that you deem most appropriate in the situation, and lend your help to the House of the Hearth.
Okay, but what do you mean, when the time comes? When is that supposed to be?
That is for you to decide.
We accept your condition.
Then we have a deal. Follow me.
What is this place?
Somewhere long forgotten by everyone. It used to be a grand building. Now it's nothing more than a pile of rubble. Although, this place does have something to do with the story I'm about to tell you. It was before I became a Harbinger, and before Linny and the others joined the House of the Hearth. Clairvy was 6 years old when she was brought by her mother, Crucibina, to live in the House of the Hearth. From the outside, it seemed like a fairy tale. A thriving family made up of kind adults and friendly children. Crucibina was the Knave at that time, and the House of the Hearth was under her control. She was Clairvy's mother by blood, but she was also the mother to all the children in the house. Clairvy was happy here, for a time. But she quickly realized that being part of this family wasn't a fairy tale at all. It was a kind of purgatory. The House of the Hearth takes in war orphans from all over Tevat. But as for how to raise them, that depends entirely on the person in charge. Crucibina came up with a novel idea. She would teach the children to fight, force them to duel each other, and then crown as the king of the house the child who proved themselves most worthy of inheriting her title. It's difficult to estimate the number of children who died or were maimed in the process. There's little I can say about the ones who died. The ones that emerged with permanent injuries, on the other hand, well, they still served a purpose. They would be handed over to the doctor to be experimented on, or sent away on dangerous missions. Nothing more than tools to be used and then discarded.
So those were the experiments Clairvy was talking about. But what actually happened to her? You said that Clairvy was Crucibina's daughter, so if Clairvy tried to convince her to stop what she was doing, Crucibina probably would have listened, right?
Despite being Clairvy's mother, Crucibina cared little for her daughter. She forced Clairvy to join the House of the Hearth only as a means to demonstrate her own impartiality as a mother, to prove that she treated all her children equally. Clairvy did try to convince her mother to change her ways, but it was to no avail. After her efforts failed, the only other option was to rise up and try to fight back. Unfortunately, the other children had already been thoroughly indoctrinated into the illusion of happiness Crucibina had created. There was one exception. Someone Clairvy's age who knew the truth about the House of the Hearth. Her name was Peruere.
Perry?
The friend that Clairvy mentioned?
Friend, huh? I suppose we can call her that for now.
You were born into this world all alone. But here in the House of the Hearth, you will grow up to be strong. Your goal is to learn, to compete, to defeat all your brothers and sisters in battle, and become king. Where's Peruere? Didn't she want to hear the story?
Excuse me, Mother. She's doing a funeral for her spider.
That child. Maybe her curse is flaring up again. Clairvy, see to her.
Oh, okay.
Clairvy was a cheerful and passionate person with a tenacious spirit.
I want cake.
Peruere, on the other hand, was rather cold-blooded.
You want some?
Sure.
Her cold-blooded nature allowed her to see through Crucibina's facade. While Clairvy longed for freedom, Peruere was convinced that, amid all the fighting and violence, she would make it until the end.
You must know spiders don't eat cake.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Despite their differences, the two became fast friends, united by their knowledge of the truth. Clairvy told Peruere that she hoped to create a real family, where no one would be killed or sacrificed. She tried countless times to run away, ask for help, or expose the truth. But her efforts only earned her beating after beating.
Do mothers usually argue with their daughters?
I heard that in Snezhnaya, colored light dances in the sky at night. When we're grown up, shall we go see it together?
10 years had passed. 10 years worth of failure after failure. She and Peruere weren't children anymore, but finding any chance to escape still seemed as hopeless as ever. If she couldn't escape and fight back, then only one option remained.
You will be a great king.
Death was the only way that she felt she could be free.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
From that moment on, Peruere's journey was one written in flames. When the rain finally came and washed it all away, there she stood, the sole victor in Mother's endless game of slaughter. She wasn't surprised by the fact that she emerged as Mother's undisputed heir. Rather, her success left her with an inexplicable sense of restlessness. And there was only one thing that could quell that sensation.
I should have pruned this flower long ago, not waited till it wilts. How grotesque. Wouldn't you agree?
The moment she acted, any conception of what was right or wrong ceased to matter. Only those who survive get to right the wounds.
Innocence and kindness are such beautiful qualities. Sadly, they're all so useless! Never fly the nest. You are no exception.
Stay awake, don't fall asleep. The way is long and the gloom is deep. Embers glowed in the hearth, still
Surrender. Let your mother guide you, and you shall become the one true king!
My answer is no.
She killed the Harbinger? Shh. Her Majesty the Tsaritsa has decreed as follows. I hereby pardon your crimes and bestow upon you a new name. This title and its legacy of bloodshed are now yours to bear, my poor, mad, cursed knave.
After I defeated Crucibina, the moniker of Mother died with her. I chose to forego the title she called herself and even chose to give up my own name. I rebuilt the House of the Hearth under a new identity. Not only as Arlecchino, but as father. And that is where the story ends. Any more questions?
Yeah. Based on what you just told us, Clairvy wasn't a little kid when she was killed. So the Clairvy we met... was she really a spirit at all?
I suppose you could call her an illusion born of flame. Her existence is like ashes to a fire. Something left over in the wake of blaze and ruin. You see, a certain power runs through my veins. It's not unlike a curse. My flames leave behind shadows of anything they consume. Of course, the chances of those shadows morphing into a sentient entity are exceedingly slim. Clairvy is a very special case. Clairvy died when she was 16 years old, but what emerged from the flames was her 6-year-old self. Perhaps I should put it this way. Clairvy is someone trapped in time. It may seem like she exists with us in the present, but she truly lives in the confines of her own past.
So if all of that is true, then you must have known about Clairvy for a long time.
Indeed. She's a rather volatile and unstable entity. Sometimes she would look after the children, but other times she would hide from me and become obsessed with revealing the truth about the house to anyone who will listen. Shadows don't have the capacity to learn or grow. Any new information they encounter is quickly forgotten over time. Your attempts to expose Clairvy to sunlight, they failed, yes? The reason is actually quite simple. In Clairvy's mind, the house is impossible to escape, and it is this very perception that traps her there. But no matter. All I have to do is kill her again, and all will be resolved. I don't anticipate so much as a single speck of ash will be left behind this time.
Wait! Paimon can understand why you might want her gone, but isn't there another way? So what if she's trapped in her 6-year-old self? She's still your friend! At least talk to her first!
It's too late for that. She broke the rules, and now she must be punished. That goes for Filial and Nantoy as well. She's had quite the effect on them. I hope you understand the difference between Crucibina and myself lies in our formulation of the rules, not our policy for enforcing them. Upholding the rules without question is a trait we both share, because that is how a household should be run.
Is this really what you want to do?
Whatever could you mean?
Don't you want to say a proper goodbye at least?
Whether as a killer or as a father, there are two things that must be avoided at all costs: anger and sorrow. Anger makes you impulsive. Sorrow causes you to waver. Well, it appears it's about time to proceed. Before we arrived, I told some of my well-behaved children to bring our troublemakers here by nightfall. I do believe I've kept my end of the deal. I gave your friends quite a bit more time. As for what happens now, we'll just have to wait and see.
Here they are, Father.
Lenny!
Clairvy.
I'm sorry. I couldn't find a way to fulfill her wish.
Huh? Are you... Perry?
Indeed. It's been a while, Clairvy.
Perry!
Shh. Stay right there. I'm sorry to postpone our reunion, but first I believe certain scores need settling.
Father, let me explain.
Out of my way.
Father!
You chose to conceal a threat to the house. And for that, you must be punished. Overall, however, I suppose your wrongdoing is hardly the most egregious of the bunch, so I'll deal with your punishments later. As for right now, the more pressing concerns are the traitors among us.
By traitors? Do you mean us?
Father, let me explain. We didn't mean to...
Fultz, why don't you share what you heard?
Yes, Father. Secret Midnight Meeting number 3. Participants: Filial, Nantoy, Sato, Toddy. Nantoy clearly said, "If only Father wasn't the one who took us in." Sato added, "I'm sick of this life. I just want to live as a normal person." Filial was the worst of them all. She called us crazies and said a bunch of mean things about Father.
I did not!
It's not like I'm the only one who heard those things. After that, you and Toddy and a bunch of other people started talking about Clairvy. You were using all those things Clairvy brought up as an excuse to question Father. We're birds locked in a cage. The only way out is to destroy it. That's what you said, wasn't it?
You're lying! Fultz is trying to frame us.
You know the type of work we do, Filial. A single betrayal can cost dozens of us our lives.
You little...
That's enough, Filial. We made a mistake. Now we have to face the consequences. I'm sorry, Father.
Chaplot, according to the rules of the House of the Hearth, How should these traitors be punished?
All those who betray the house pay with their lives.
Why?
And so it shall be.
Father, please wait!
Something you want to say, Linny?
Please reconsider, Father. What Filial and the others did, does it really count as betrayal? We all come from broken families. From the very first day we joined the House of the Hearth, we wanted nothing more than to make it a real home. But the truth is, none of us know what a real home should look like. I'm not saying I have all the answers. All I know is this. Killing Filial and the others may uphold the rules, but doing so will only bring us further away from being a real family than we've ever been. So please, Father, please reconsider.
I agree with Linny.
Father, please. Linny, you...
An order once given cannot be rescinded. However, given the extent of your determination, I suppose we shall have to go about this a different way. Draw your weapons and face me.
Our weapons?
Precisely. The rules of the house will not be altered. Traitors must be punished. However, resolving disputes with a duel is also one of our rules, one that also applies to me. Demonstrate a sufficient showing of strength, and I shall offer a concession.
Beat Father in a duel?
Did you hear that, Traveler? What should we do? If they lose, those people from the house are really gonna be executed. Hey, are you listening?
Is executing them really what she wants?
Don't you want to say a proper goodbye at least?
Anger makes you impulsive. Sorrow causes you to waver.
She never actually answered my question. But that makes the answer pretty obvious, doesn't it?
When the time comes, make the choice that you deem most appropriate in the situation, and lend your help to the House of the Hearth.
What's wrong, Traveler? Hey, where are you going?
Traveler?
I'd like to see for myself what the fourth of the Fatui Harbingers can do.
You're asking to join the duel against the Knave?
I'll allow it. We do have a ready-made dueling ring at our disposal, after all. All I would advise is this. Keep a firm grasp on your weapon, and give it your all. Any less, and you may just lose your life. You should know better than to crowd in one place.
I know.
No! I'm sorry, Father!
Sorry for what? This pitiful excuse for an attack.
Father, no!
Made it out, did you? You're stronger than I expected.
A crimson moon? I can't move.
Still, not strong enough. I believe we can end things here. It's not often that we get to enjoy the company of guests, after all. We wouldn't want things to get too out of hand.
Brother, are you all right?
Lenny! Given that I am the victor of this duel, as agreed, the punishment stands.
No!
I never thought things would end like this.
However, everyone involved in the duel demonstrated a remarkable level of strength and determination. In light of this, I'm prepared to change the method of execution. Elwar, the bottled flames I gave you for safekeeping. Do you still have them?
Yes? I wasn't sure what they were for, but I've kept them safe.
Wonderful. Then, in just a moment, I'll have you administer them.
Bottled flames?
Indeed. Under certain special circumstances, flames can be extracted from my person and preserved. Once ingested, searing pain will spread across every inch of your body. No harm will come to you physically, but your memories will be burned away. If you can withstand the pain. When you awake, you'll have forgotten everything you know about the House of the Hearth, and will be expelled from the organization. In other words, administering this concoction will kill the version of you that grew up in the house, and give you a new identity.
Wait, what does that mean for all the people on that list of executions we saw?
So, you're just letting us go, Father?
You misunderstand. Memories are extremely important. Once consumed by flame, the version of you standing before me will die, and our secrets will die with you. So no, I don't intend to just let you go, because the person who survives will be nothing but a stranger.
Even so, I won't have to live in fear anymore. I'm sorry, Father. I'm sorry I let you down. But I really...
Don't cry, Filial. Dry your tears, and go pursue the life you really want.
Yes, Father.
Chaplot, Foltz, Elwar. Take them back to Poisson. And bring Linny and the others as well. I prepared 3 extra vials of bottled flames. As for whether to take them, the choice is yours. Goodbye, children. The next time we meet, I will no longer be your father. Thank you for all you've done for the house. I hope you have bright futures ahead of you.
Father.
Let's go.
Clairvy.
Can we talk now? I've been waiting for a long time. You really are Perry. I haven't seen you in so long. How come you're all grown up? Wait, did I somehow travel to the future on accident? Or am I dreaming?
Neither. You died, Clairvy. That's what happened.
You could have at least sugarcoated it a little. Look, she's that speechless.
I would say she's probably had enough lies.
Oh. Okay then.
Huh? That's it? You accepted it just like that?
Yep. If that's what Perry says happened, then I believe her. Plus, I don't really need to know why I'm like this. I'm more curious about what happens in the future. If you're a harbinger now, Perry, that means Mother is gone, isn't she? Can you tell me about it?
You never stopped trying to defy fate. At first, no one believed you. You could only vent your frustrations to the moon. Later on, you tried to run away, but you were brought back each time. Mother spared your life, but it wasn't out of kindness. Instead, she decided to make an example of you by slowly torturing you over time. That way, the other children would know what happens to traitors. Still, you never gave up. Mother hoped that through ruthless duel after ruthless duel, she would be able to crown an ultimate victor among the children she raised. But you called on everyone to unite, to fight to a draw in order to reduce casualties. Your efforts may have only delayed the inevitable, but still. You gave them hope. You tried everything you could think of, but every attempt ended in failure. Still, you never turned your sword on Crucibina, and you never turned it on me. On that gloomy day, you told me, "For the last 16 years of my life, I've done everything I can to fight for freedom. But now, I realize that the only freedom I truly possess is the freedom to choose to die."
I never imagined I would say something like that. I must have been feeling really worn down. But somehow, I still think I understand. According to Mother's plan, only one of us was going to make it until the end. And I always hoped that person would be you. If I could do it all over again, I still don't think I would make a different choice. Even when I first met you, I knew you'd be able to do what I couldn't.
Is that so? Even now, I'm not sure I truly understand what kind of freedom you were trying to pursue. But as the head of the House of the Hearth and as the children's father, I've tried to give them the most basic of freedoms. The freedom to choose their own fate. It's something I discussed with the Iudex of Fontaine. The children who want to leave the house will have their memories wiped clean of all secrets pertaining to the organization. In return, they will be allowed to live a normal life in Fontaine without being prosecuted for their past. Of course, I won't simply hand freedom to them on a silver platter. They have to fight for it and prove themselves worthy of it. Only freedom that is earned has true value.
That's more than enough. That's exactly the kind of life I was fighting for. You know, Perry, I think you're a pretty amazing king, and a really great father, too. I'm really happy that you're the one who took over the house. I guess I do have one regret, though. I still haven't seen the outside world.
Well, it just so happens that our dear guests over here have been to many nations and traveled to countless places. Perhaps they would be willing to tell you what the outside world is like.
Really? Of course!
We've traveled all over the place. We've got so many stories, we could probably talk your ears out for 3 days straight.
Yeah. Clairvy is listening so intently to the story. She seems so happy, like all her troubles have been forgotten. But I'm not sure how long this moment can last.
Shadows don't have the capacity to learn or grow. Any new information they encounter is quickly forgotten.
As time passes, she'll probably forget everything we've told her, and go back to being that scared little girl who could only hide in the shadows.
Clairvy, you've worked tirelessly from the shadows to overthrow the House of the Hearth. Now, by my authority as the Knave, I shall announce how this matter ends. You are hereby expelled from the House of the Hearth. You are no longer tied to this place, nor are you bound by its rules.
You're saying that I can finally leave? I get to experience the outside world as well? Oh, I almost forgot. There's no getting older for me. Still, seeing who you grew up to be makes me really happy, Parallare. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.
May we meet again someday.
Clairvy, she left so soon. Paimon didn't even get to finish her story.
Yeah, I know.
I also have certain sentiments left unsaid. I wanted to tell her that the aurora I saw in Snezhnaya was just as beautiful as the ones in the pictures. But a shadow's memories reset at dawn. Had we delayed any longer, we wouldn't have had the time to say goodbye. Whatever regrets may linger, let them be lost to the coming of a new day.
May the birds soar from their cage, sunbeams filter through the foliage, flames grow with immortal courage, and I hope you won't be tainted by fate. Nothing to fear, so go alone. By the grace of pain, hundreds of times you'll fight in the ruins. Your pride will not be slain. From the heart to the veins,
Come with me. I will raise you as my child, like a strict and unfeeling father.